Welcome. This message is for anyone who needs to hear this message. Spirit, what is in the third energy between this collective and their person, please? I am now shuffling the wisdom of the Oracle deck. If you'd like more information about any of the decks I'll be using in this reading today, please see the description field beneath this video. And we have chaos and conflict. Oh my, so that's giving 5 of Wands energy. There's a sense of competing priorities in this connection. There's a sense of emotional turmoil. The inside and the outside are not lined up. So this can be experienced in different ways. Could be experienced as lots of challenges that we're manifesting in our outer world. This could also be between you and your person, or between you and people around you, but as within, so without. So often when there's chaos around us, it can reflect that there's chaos within us. And some of that can be subconscious. Some of it can be coming up from the depths. Spirit, what else is in the third energy between this collective and their person? I am now shuffling the Spellcasting Oracle deck. There's a resistance to change that's coming through. Residual sense of victim consciousness. Your person may feel as though life is coming at them or it's happening to them, and that they're momentarily out of alignment with the things that they want to create or that they want to co-create. It may seem like I'm hearing that the deck is stacked against them. Okay. What else is in the third energy, please, Spirit? Just laying out a few oracle cards to get a snapshot into the energies between you and your person. Then we will transition into a full tarot spread, followed by some further oracle card guidance, some message cards from your person's higher self to you, and we will close your reading out also with a timeline oracle card. So if you'd like to know when, please stay tuned till the end. And we have Spirit Guide. Yeah, so that card came out in the reverse. So that is confirming what was coming through my channel on the first card just a moment ago, where there is a sense of disconnection from the inside and the outside, the inside, your person's inner world, in other words, and their outer world. And the reason for this is because they're feeling disconnected from their higher self. So there's splitting here. Now, some of them may be codependent on you, collective, to find their alignment. I'm picking up on an energy, though, where they may go to you as though you're a fix. So that has an addictive quality that's coming through, or as I said before, a codependent quality. There's something here about internal, external validation. Something here also coming through about remembering to put one's own face mask on first. One cannot be of much use to others if their own needs are not taken care of first. But often when we have a lot of demands placed upon us from a young age, that is not a lesson that we've learned. So I'm picking up on high ACE that's coming through here, adverse childhood experiences. I've talked about that in some of my other readings. The chaos and conflict card was giving 5 of Wands energy. When we combine this with the spirit guide and protection, or in reverse, it's giving 5 of Pentacles energy as well. So your person may feel cut off from you. They may feel cut off from their guidance team. They may feel cut off from all the good things that life has to offer. Some of them may have issues with self-worth. Some of them may fear being alone. I do see that many of them are missing you tremendously, but I'm picking up on an energy where life just feels so stressful and so chaotic that they feel like missing you is a luxury. And to miss you would also be to emotionally validate, to feel into their emotional body. And this is something that many of them have trouble doing on a regular basis. Okay. Spirit, what else is in the third energy between this collective and their person? I am now shuffling the Romance Angels deck. Okay, we do have children. Your love life is being affected by children. Okay, so for some of them, the chaos and conflict is coming off a chaotic home life. Some of them may have young children. Or some of them, if they are separated from a karmic partner, may feel responsible for their children. Their children may be burdening them financially. There's this energy of just feeling put upon and not knowing how to change that, especially if the children are very young. In this card, they appear to be pretty young. So, I mean, that set of circumstances is not going to change anytime soon. You know, in the case where the children are teenagers now, that would be a situation that was shifting, because the children would be increasingly more independent. There's another message that is coming off the Spirit Guide card too, just about splitting between the ego and the personality and the soul, the higher and the lower self. So it's like your person's behavior may not be matching up with his or her words, for example, is one way that can manifest. There is a distinct vibrational variance here between the 3D and the 5D in this connection. Especially if you identify as a twin flame, everything on a line must go in order for the 5D union to occur. So in the case where your person is treating you poorly, or there's just this combative push-pull energy between the two of you, it's good not to focus on your person's behavior. This is something even that Cassidy Kane has spoken a lot about in her work, Twin Flames 1111, that to shift this type of dynamic, it's good to focus on your person's essence. That's the 5D connection that the two of you are already in. And it is your job as a light worker to anchor that frequency. And you're offering your person unconditional love. So then when we combine that with children, your person, what I see is that this is a commentary on your person's inner child too. Your person's inner child may not have learned the lesson of unconditional love from its parents and may be struggling with children of its own now and may want to do better by them, but just may not have the bandwidth, the emotional bandwidth by Mitch to, what I'm hearing is to, rise above the generational wounding, because some of this is ancestral too. In fact, yeah, I'm picking up on at least 2/3 of it is ancestral. Okay, let's move along now and get you some tarot. I'm working with 2 decks today, Colette Baron-Reid's Good Tarot and one of John Holland's decks. So just focus on your person for me so that your intuition can merge with mine, collective, and we can get you the most timely, up-to-date, and accurate information. So Spirit, what surrounds the collective's person as it concerns the collective, please? What is he or she thinking? How is he or she feeling? Where is this connection headed? And what are the collective's person's next possible actions toward the collective at this time too? And if I feel so moved, I will also be clarifying with the field tarot. Okay, let's see. Let's find out. Okay, so we have, and this came through in another reading recently too, where there was sacral chakra blockage. So this is an issue here. And that can mean a lot of different things, depending on how much energy work you've done. Yeah, I mean, I was picking up on high ACE. There may be children involved. There's a very palpable sense of exhaustion here too when we combine that with chaos and conflict. There's a sense of feeling like passionless and feeling so put upon that your person has no creative energy left. And this is something Joe Dispenza says too, that if we're very stressed out, we don't have any energy left to create something new. And I see that your person is having that problem. But I see they still hold a torch for you, certainly, but there's blockage here. Some of them may have trauma stored here from an earlier age, could have involved some sexual trauma, some type of sexual perversion. That came through before in the other reading. So by sexual perversion, I mean some type of molestation. For some of them, this trauma here has to do with the children they have and their ex-karmic partner. I'm picking up on an energy of betrayal. There could have been a third party involved with their third party to you. There's a few different triangles I'm picking up on. So in other words, they could have had children with a karmic partner, and the karmic partner could have cheated on your person, is what is coming through. And your person may have trouble recovering from that, may have trouble healing that, and may, as a result, have very deep-seated trust issues, may not be able to trust you, may be harboring a hate of women or a hate of the other gender, or, you know, in the event of a same-sex relationship, it could be just the hate of the gender that your person is. Not to complicate this any more than it needs to be. But actually, the complication seems like a commentary on that chaos and conflict energy. Yeah, there's a lot of emotional enmeshment, entanglement. There's a lot of people involved that are contributing to this trauma. And some of this is what I was getting before. There's an ancestral component of it. Now, with attachment disorders, insecure attachment, anxious avoidant attachment, you've probably heard of it before, also known as bonding wounds. They can impact the root and the sacral chakras. So there might be some bonding difficulties that your person experienced at a slightly different, older developmental age. You know, so that we have the trauma, but it could also just indicate that the other parent, like for example, maybe their mother wasn't good enough. Just psychologically speaking, their mother may not have been a good, quote unquote, good enough mother. So they went to their father or their other parent for their needs, and then that person abandoned them too. God forbid, right? So then there could be trauma at that developmental age, which then corresponds with the sacral chakra, which is about, I think Mona Lisa Smiles says in her work that it's about 2 to 5 years. And then the solar plexus is about the age of school, when we start school. And that's when our ego identity forms. Okay, so what is crossing that as it concerns their person? Okay, 10 of Earth, interesting. So your person wants commitment with you. But what I see is that they were in something committed before, and this won't resonate for everyone, won't apply to everyone. In some cases, they were with someone before and that ended badly. And they may not even believe in the institution of marriage anymore. Now, for some of them, this is a commentary on needing to work really, really, really hard. And that's why they're so exhausted with that sacral chakra blockage to provide that lifestyle. Even if they're separated and divorced from this karmic partner, they may feel like they need to provide that lifestyle for the children they have with that person. Or in the event they don't have children, but they just have a karmic, there might be some alimony, and that they may have been court ordered to pay that person that much alimony, and it may be very challenging for them to settle that karmic debt and then to continue to build a new life for themselves, right? So they may feel like they need to work overtime, like they may need to create extra revenue streams, and I see that they're very stressed out and burdened by that. Now, for others of you, because of what has happened in a committed relationship, possibly a marriage with someone, they have commitment phobia. Although I'm picking up on a more traditional energy here. That is ultimately what they want with you. But because of these unconscious wounds and traumas, they're not ready yet. They're still getting their finances squared away. And there's some imbalances and excesses here that need to be managed better too in their physical. They may not be getting enough sleep. They may be malnourished. What are they aware of as it concerns the collective, please? Yeah, then we have the Temperance card here, which in the John Holland deck is called balance. So there's excesses here, there's imbalances here. There's a lot of conflict and triggering, not just with you, but with people around your person. They may be very, I'm hearing bombastic or very reactive. They may be triggered by everything because they're not getting enough rest. Often if we don't get enough rest, we can feel very vulnerable, right? They may be coping with too much caffeine too. It may be impacting their nervous system is what I'm hearing too for some of them. Some of them also may be drinking too much. I mean, in the traditional Rider-Waite depiction of the Temperance card, the angel, after all, is transmuting the wine back into water. No, I mean, Temperance is also about healing and harmonization. And I see that you are having a purifying, uplifting effect upon your person. And that you, collective, are doing a better job of managing the reactivity in your own outer world because you're more balanced on the inside, right? But your person is misaligned that way. They don't have the internal balance. They may be codependently attached to you in the 5D for that, especially if you're offering them healing work. I mean, some would argue that in a 5D sense, we can't really be too codependent on our counterpart if you identify as a twin flame. So what I'm picking up more on there is, especially in this depiction of the Temperance, we see really a twin flame couple, but they're merging. They are undergoing a soul merge process where the two are becoming one. The yin and the yang are balanced and are becoming one. So they don't know, in other words, since they don't know how to do that on their own, they may be trying to plug into you, going to you as the source, or to some addiction as the source, right? Could even be to you on social media, for example. They have to learn. I don't even like to think of it as going as self-love. Some would conceptualize it as a self-love journey, and to some extent it is, but we're really going to the divine for our needs. So we can think of it as going in, or we can think of it as going up. But some of us need it more personalized than that. Divine or unmanifest is too generic. So working with high beings can be helpful, like Kuan Yin can be very good for 5D anchoring as well, or Archangel Michael in faith can be very good. Mother Mary can be very good for inner child work. all of these high beings. I'm seeing if there's any other messages that are coming through. You know, to go back to what I was saying earlier about needing to put one's own oxygen mask on first, that is related, because otherwise what happens is the stress depletes our energy field and we don't have anything left. And then we start to get sick. So there's a lot of reactivity and a lot of triggering I'm picking up on your person's end. It's not just coming from you, it's coming from other people around your person, potentially a very chaotic workplace as well. Okay, beneath the collective's person, interesting, we have Queen of Earth. So it's similar, giving similar energy to that 10 of Earth. So for some of them, this indicates you. And because of that unworthiness wounding, they do not feel worthy of you. They're trying to work, but I'm getting the sense that they are doing that in a monetary sense. They're thinking of that in terms of mission, money, career, finance. That's what they're working away at. And that's valid, certainly. And they may have a lot of financial responsibilities. But when we combine that with that reversed sacral chakra card, what we see is it's not just responsibilities, it's burden. They feel burdened by their responsibilities. And yet there's still not enough energy left over at the end of the day to offer you anything significant or tangible, or they haven't yet acquired the emotional bandwidth is another message that's coming through. Now, for some of them, they have a very demanding ex-partner spouse. This person may be very manipulative. This person may be very narcissistic. In some cases, this may even be the person's mother if they have an over-involved mother or an over-involved a boss, female boss, potentially even. Let's see what else. Gonna move on. Okay, behind them is the sun as it concerns you. So you are a major, major, major source of upliftment. I see that you are the best person in this person's life. And for some of them, they may have really disappointed you because they haven't been ready for this. What I'm hearing is if you ever message them or if you ever post something, that you make their day, that they're very inspired by you. And for some of them, that's also what is you are driving them to better themselves in some way, but it's just that they're going too far with it. And I'm getting the sense that it has to do with not having enough of that within, not being able to cultivate that enough within through spiritual practices of their own. Some of them may just use prayer. And prayer can be an effective spiritual practice if it's making a connection with our emotional body, right? There's also, I think this is also something Dispenza and others, it may have been, no, it wasn't Dispenza who talks about this. I think it is, Michael Beckwith talks about this, yes. How when you pray, you need to pray for elevated emotions. So it's like, you don't pray to get something, like let's just say that you want a raise, right? You don't pray for a raise, you pray for abundance. You could also decree to the day, you could decree to Lakshmi, for example, since she's the goddess of supply, the goddess of abundance. There's proper ways of doing that are more effective, but it's very important that it makes a connection with the heart. If we're not able to connect in with the heart, then that can just be draining. And it's funny. I don't know why I'm getting this metaphor. Maybe your person is a musician, or maybe you are. What I'm being shown is when a flautist plays a flute, I don't know what the statistic is, but I think somewhere it's like what I've learned about this is 3/4 of the air that you blow over the top of the flute doesn't go into the instrument. So that takes a lot of energy, right? But if you're not making the right connection with the hole on the instrument, the mouthpiece on the instrument, it's not going to make a sound. So there's something here about excesses and inefficiencies and needing to resolve that. But spiritual practices are important too. But I see is like they see you as that. They see you as embodying that, which is a beautiful thing. But when there's still codependency, what happens is if you're not available, then they feel cut off from their supply. Not even just their supply. It's like I'm getting a kind of addictive energy there. That would be like someone who needs a fix, someone who needs a hit, someone who needs a supply. For some of them, for some of you, that's what you're dealing with, someone that has an addiction issue like that. They see you as their life source. So it's like they can feel cut off from their life source. So you can't be their life source. Spirit is the life source. And for some of them, yeah, okay, I'm being drawn here to the light coming out of the figure's heart. They're rising. They're rising. In a Christian sense, they're rising in this card. But this is also representing the galactic cord. So the galactic cord connects our heart chakra up to the Godhead. And so that we can conceptualize that as being our connection to God's spirit source, to the unmanifest. But if that's in disrepair, that can send us into a state of panic. But what your person's trying to do, in fact, they may even be courting you. And it's okay for there to be positive cords, especially for twin flames. Twin flame docking is very sophisticated and very important. But some of those cords may either be in disrepair, and you may need to do some energy work. If you are a Reiki master yourself, or if you've worked in the Akashic records, you probably know how to do that. But there may be some negative energy cords that they're trying to attach onto you that need to be removed. Or what's happening is those cords are coming from their ex-karmic partner, whoever this Queen of Earth is, who isn't you. So you, if you're an empath, that may be depleting your energy field too, because of course there's a third energy component of this too. And we see that in the beginning when we were tuning into that. Oh yes, I see why spiritual practices are so important here too, because of the spirit guide card being in the reverse, right? Yeah, there's a lot going on here. A simple cord cutting practice could be good too, just as a starting place if you don't know how to do cord healing and dissolving in the AR. That is something I can help you with if you'd like to book a healing call with me or an Akashic record reading. All the details for how to work with me are listed beneath this video. A very good cord cutting practice that I'm aware of is offered through Mark and Elizabeth Prophet Summit Lighthouse. I think it's the Decree to Beloved Estrella. That one is very good to do. Estrella is an Elohim of the fourth ray of purity. She wields a white blue flame and a sword, and she will spin the sword in concentric circles around you and clear out those cords. You just set the intention to clear between you and your person and anyone plugged into your person, anyone plugged into you as appropriate. And then repeat that for a few days, probably consecutively, or whenever you feel low. If you suddenly feel like your own energy field is depleted, then I would return to that resource or one like it. But that is one that I would highly recommend. Where is this headed? Yeah, 5 of Earth. I was picking up on that energy earlier. Yeah, wow. So 5 of Earth, I mean, that's about loss. That's about your person missing you. I'm picking up on an energy of desperation, of destitution. There's some extremes here, especially when we combine, the 5 of Earth with the Temperance card. Your person is afraid of losing everything. What I'm also hearing is they're afraid if they were to choose you that they could lose everything. Yeah, for some of them, there's some pretty significant bonding difficulties here. So if you are able, collective, to work on anxious avoidant attachment, insecure attachment, your person is coming through is either having that or being avoidant and bonder. In some cases, it could be even more extreme. They may be a disorganized bonder. Then that's some pretty heavy trauma you're working with. That may only apply to one person watching this video, however. So inner child work will be very helpful. Work targeting the root and the sacral chakra is very good for resolving bonding wounds. They are difficult to resolve, though. In my experience, it can take years to resolve them. But it's very important in twin flame relationships for those to be addressed, because that's really what is creating the conflict, separation, the runner, chaser, narcissist, empath dynamic, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it has a very similar type of energetic pattern to it. Let's see what your person's next possible actions are toward you, collective. Yeah, for some of them too, it's like they want to come toward you, but because of that fear of unworthiness, they're afraid of rejection. They don't want to come to you empty-handed, but they don't feel like they have anything to offer you. There's a sense of spiritual impoverishment coming off of that Five of Earth card. Victim consciousness, scarcity consciousness, all these things. Hopelessness, helplessness. They may also be tuned into that broader field of energy, because it's like, if we're down on ourselves, what happens is we think that thought for more than 17 seconds, it precipitates in a mood, and then it's amplified by broader fields of energies. These are called morphogenetic fields. So I'm picking up on a strong collective energy of hopelessness, helplessness as well. And so then, essentially anyone who's homeless would be part of that same morphogenetic field, right? Or anyone who has addiction issues would be part of that morphogenetic field. Something here about what's the use? Why even change my life? What's the use? Okay, let's clarify what their next possible actions are toward you. Using the Field Tarot. Spirit, clarify this Five of Pentacles as it concerns the collective's person's next possible actions toward them. And we're getting Seven of Discs, Seven of Earth, perseverance. But when it's in the reverse, that can indicate giving up. Yeah, so that's reaffirming the Five of Earth. It's like, it seems like all your person does is work. And they may be questioning their investments, questioning people or projects or jobs they've invested in, whether it's leading anywhere. For some of them, this is a karmic lesson about perseverance and stamina. But right now, they're feeling like they're at a loss. They are very focused on the energy of the problem. Unfortunately, when we stay stuck on the energy of the problem, we often can't align with solutions, not on our own, because the solution is on an entirely different wavelength. And to go back to what Dispenza has said about how if we're overly stressed, we don't have any energy left over to create something new. See, the solution is in the quantum field of possibility. But if there's splitting between the head and the heart, if there's splitting between the higher lower self, personality, and the soul, we don't have access to broader perspective. So for some of you, you are their connection to the broader perspective, to their higher self, to the divine. Some of them may be deifying you. Some of them are questioning whether they should continue to invest in this connection with you. because it feels like it's not for them right now. For the moment, it doesn't appear to be leading anywhere. It just seems to lead to more problems for them. What I'm hearing is I'm hearing also some of them may believe that you're better off without them. Okay, another clarifier on this shadowy reading here. Okay, the Fool. Interesting. So that's about taking a leap of faith. It's about wanting a new beginning. That's about needing to persevere and muster the courage to keep on keeping on. You know, for some of them that might indicate just the courage to keep doing what they're doing and to hope for a different result. And the way that came through is it indicates they're still stuck on the karmic merry-go-round, but they don't know any other way. But some of them may be praying for an answer, praying for a solution, but yeah, just not able to connect into their emotional body like I was picking up on before. Some of them may even pray that you will intervene somehow. It's interesting because it's like, I feel like when this came through in another reading recently, this same card came up in the same position. And I was picking up on someone who was going through a Job initiation and could show up at your door. But this is coming through more as someone who is so depleted. They're not quite at a rock bottom though, because we don't have 10 of swords here. We don't have 8 of swords. We don't have 9 of swords. They're not quite at a rock bottom moment here, but they may be hoping or praying that you'll show up at their door to save them. There's something here also about a savior complex or a messiah complex that's coming through. Yeah, they may be praying to be saved, but I'm also seeing that like they may be praying for atonement. Deliver me, O Lord, for I have sinned. Yeah, there's some religious undertone to this reading suddenly. And that might have something to do with this unworthiness wound too, if they're connected to religious lineages. Or it's like they may feel like because they've sinned that they're condemned to fire and brimstone. They may believe in hell. They may believe in the devil, that sort of thing. Okay, one other further action for where this is headed, please. What is the collective's person's next possible actions toward them? We have Valor, 7 of Wands, which can also be about persistence, perseverance. Sometimes people interpret that as the boundary card or saying no to people. There's a sense of certainly a defensive posture. Okay, so what's coming through here, to go back to what I was getting about them praying or hoping that you'll show up at their door. What I'm getting is they're afraid that if they were to show up at yours, that you would close their door, your door to them. In fact, some of you could have blocked them or they could have blocked you, like on social media, for example. Some of them, this is a commentary on needing to improve their boundaries with the karmic players in their life, needing to improve their boundaries at their workplace, needing to improve their boundaries, not necessarily with their children, but with their ex-karmic partner or with their family in some way, their biological family in some way. Could also be with friends. For some of them, okay, so this is another message, and now I see why some of that religious imagery was coming off. In the traditional Rider-Waite card, the downtrodden figure in the 5 of Earth is outside a church with a stained window, except that they're so focused on the problem that they don't even see the church, right? The solution is represented by the church. and the church looks warm and inviting, but they don't see it because they're only focused on the wintry conditions, and their attention is at their feet. So there's something here about blocking out the divine, or feeling like they're not worthy of the divine, like they're not worthy of divine intervention. So, I mean, if they want divine intervention, they have to be open to receiving it. So ask and it is given, but we can keep asking. Abe Hicks talks about staying stuck in the asking phases and not being able to receive, maybe because we have blocks to receiving. But there's surrender that's required here too. And some people have trouble with surrender because surrender makes them feel too vulnerable. So your person, since this is, after all, a defensive posture, your person may feel fear being that vulnerable and exposed with you. For some of them, for fewer of them, what I'm also hearing is this has to do with a major life change that they're guided to make, but they're afraid to leave behind their old matrix reality to choose you. So that's only going to be a message for someone at a higher level of ascension on a twin flame journey, probably. Okay, let's move on and get you some further oracle card guidance. Let's see. Let's go with the Island Time Wellness deck. Spirit, what do you want this collective to know about their person or about the connection, please? 3 of these cards. Again, this deck can get kind of shadowy, so I will just try to interpret the message and deliver it in the most uplifting way. This whole reading was pretty shadowy. However, so if you're with me this far, you probably can handle it. Okay, so what do you want the collective to know about their person or about this connection, Spirit? Some further advice for them. Okay, kisses, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving affection, falling in love. Okay, so this is an indication that your person still loves you. They still dream about you. They still have fantasies about you. They may be blowing you kisses. It's interesting, unconditionally loving too. I mean, that was coming through earlier about needing to master the lesson of unconditional love. So how you offer that to them, collective, is you surrender and you just flow love and compassion to them, and you forgive them no matter what, and you release all your judgments, you release all your expectations, you release all your preferences, and you forgive them, and you keep offering that vibration. And you may experience triggers along the way too, we all do, but you just keep recalibrating to the frequency of unconditional love, which is somewhere between 540 and 600 on the Hawkins scale of consciousness. It's a very high vibration. But that makes you more magnetic to them, certainly. And it allows more of this chaos and conflict to be resolved karmically too. Okay, what else, please? Do you want the collective to know about their person? What about the connection, please? And we have heartbroken, deeply sad, separation, deeply hurt, breakup, feeling lost, grieving, mourning. Yeah. So your person is really, really missing you. For some of them too, I'm now picking up on an energy of being separated from their children. So, I mean, maybe they lost a custody battle with the chaos and conflict card is another message that's coming through, and they feel separated from their children. And that may be very difficult for them. For some of them, they feel separated from you. And they feel like the circumstances are coming betwixt and between you. This may be an unconventional relationship. This may be forbidden love, for example. You just may have a lot of challenges, a lot of differences. They might be cultural differences. You may be spiritual. Your person may be religious. Often in twin flame connections, we are asked to transmute very, very difficult templates. For some of us, it's difficult grid points even. Like, for example, if you incarnated into different countries and one of you incarnated into like a third world country, for example, that could be really challenging set of karmic circumstances. But they love you and they miss you. And they hope that you'll forgive them. But I'm not picking up on an energy of readiness here. There's more healing that needs to be done. And we talked about cord cutting practices. We talked about the use of spiritual practices, proper use of prayer. Blocks to receiving may need to be cleared, right? And then the bonding wounds may need to be more resolved in order for this connection to start to physicalize more. Another message for those watching this reading, Spirit. What do you want them to know about their person or about their connection? And we have talking, interested, conversing more, awaited message arrives, text, call, email, hovering. Okay, so that's interesting when we combine that with the Fool card. So some of you could suddenly hear from them. You might get a sudden call or a sudden message from them. They may want to consult you for help in resolving some of their problems. Because I see, especially with the sun behind the connection, I mean, you have more energetic and emotional resources available to you, collective. So what I'm also hearing is that they'd appreciate your friendship. I mean, they want more with you, but what I see is that they're not ready for more with you because they need to heal their heart and they need to heal their abandonment, wounding, and trauma first before they can be ready for more. But so for some of you, this unconditional love that you're being asked to flow to them may involve taking on more of a role of friendship as you, because this is a supportive role, and that can be hard to do within the context of a sacred partnership. Potentially, if the two of you have broken up or have been in a long-term period of separation. But this can be a means of getting to know each other without too much pressure. Because what I see is that if there were any more pressure put on your poor person, that they would just explode and may self-sabotage. So just so much love and compassion to you and your person. Let's see, what would they like to say to you? I'm using this new deck by Liv Tarot. It's the Twin Flame Light and Shadow Message deck. So let's get you a few messages from this deck as well. All right, Spirit, what would the person's person, sorry, not the person's person. We were talking about person's person. We don't want messages from the person's karmic. But they're trying to interfere. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's what was happening there. Getting some interference from your person's karmic partner there. Okay. Okay, let me rephrase. Spirit, what do you want the collective? No? See, it's interfering with my ability to deliver you these messages. Someone is trying to block, 7 of Wands, your person from giving you a message through me. Oh dear. Okay, so Spirit, what does the collective's person want to say to the collective? There we go. What would they like to say to the collective, please, in this possible awaited message? I hid my real thoughts and feelings from you. I was in denial and afraid of losing you. I see clearly now. Okay, so some of them are awakening. And in the past, they may have denied this connection. They may have denied you these kisses that they want to send to you, right? Giving and receiving affection. They may have tried to block the affection that you wanted to share with them because they weren't ready for it. Again, some of them didn't have the bandwidth for it at that time. Some of them had never experienced the type of soul connection that you and he or she had. For some of them, you know, their denial could have involving third parties or lots of excuses, for example, but that feels like a past energy because they're acknowledging now that they see clearly now. So that indicates that time is past. To some extent, time is healing the wounds. To some extent, we don't have the Hangman or the Judgment card or the Hierophant card in this particular spread. All of those can indicate a spiritual awakening, but we do have the Temperance card. So there's the desire to heal, to reconcile. Temperance can be about patience, but it can also be about reconciliation. And that also might be what they want to talk to you about too. They might want to talk to you about their journey, or they might want to learn more from you. As the positive polarity, the spiritual twin, again, if you identify it as a karmic soulmate or a twin flame, you usually have a lot to teach the negative polarity, spiritually speaking. Okay, what else would they like to say to the collective, please? Another message from their higher self. And we have, okay, there's another card that, yeah. Okay, this one wants to come out too, and it wants to come out under the heartbroken Island Time Wellness card. We see a broken heart. I'm mad at myself for behaving this way. I can't control my fear of getting my heart broken again. Okay. So for some of them, that is coming through also to clarify this denial energy. They were in denial about how they felt for you because they were afraid of getting hurt again. So it's like the choices that they've made since they separated from you have been choices that would have them maintain the status quo, and they have a bit of a heart wall. For the reason that karmic relationships are often a lot simpler and safer because it's a familiar dynamic. Even if it is highly dysfunctional, it's still a familiar dynamic. There's something here also that's coming through about your person maybe being afraid of stillness, silence, especially with the chaos and conflict energy. I'm picking up on a busy-bodied energy because they may be afraid that if they sat in stillness, maybe even, again, what was coming through with the need to utilize spiritual practices to reconnect to the divine, that may be confronting to them, like seated meditation may be confronting to them for that reason. But in other words, so what I'm also hearing here is they didn't pick you. They picked the safe route to keep themselves safe from being hurt again. Because I'm getting that they really have been burned by this ex-karmic partner who, again, Spirit is reminding me, was trying to interfere with my ability to even get messages for you. But for some of them, they had a very narcissistic parent who was very self-absorbed and controlling, very either over-involved in their life or under-involved in their life, very interfering. So for some of them, it's like I'm picking up that their heart was already broken as a child. Their heart was already broken as a child, and that then set them up for heartbreak in adult relationship as well. Okay, and another message that's coming through is just like a bone that heals. There's this notion that when a bone heals, it heals stronger. So there's something here about how you needed to break their heart again so that their heart would heal stronger. That's interesting. I feel like that's a commentary on resolving betrayal wounding too. Like that could be a karmic pattern potentially for both of you. And in order for that to fully resolve, that may have needed to occur between the two of you. In some cases, one of you may have agreed to play that role for the other, even if it didn't entirely make sense. And I'm picking up on a feminine maybe that has some betrayal wounding herself. And then her person just played that role for her. And it had more to do with the timing not being right than anything that you did to your person. At least not in this lifetime. I mean, there could be hurt and harming from other lifetimes that has bled over too. That is another possibility. Okay, and the third message is, I didn't believe in myself or in you. I let my low self-worth ruin our love. I want us to heal together. Yeah, so that's confirming that core wound of unworthiness. I didn't believe in myself. So in the past, they're acknowledging that they weren't awakened. In the very first message, they're saying they see clearly now. So again, that's reaffirming this notion that they have made progress and that now they, through the talking, right, the talking with you, they're wanting to invest, Seven of Pentacles, in healing this connection and in working on some of their wounds and growing through them so that the same vicious cycles don't repeat again. Okay, let's close you out now with some timeline oracle cards to end this. Wow, it's almost an hour. This is a long one. Okay, so Spirit, when can the collective expect a shift in this connection, please? Give us a few different timelines for different people watching this video, if they've even made it this far, or maybe if they just fast forwarded to see the timelines. Which is cool. I don't mind. Okay. Okay, we have September. It did come out in reverse. So sometime between now and September, September is Virgo season. So you or your person could also have strong Virgo in your chart. And Spirit is also saying after the Lionsgate, so that it might have the Lionsgate portal on 8/8 might give you some activations that the two of you need to receive before you can reconnect, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so that's one timeline. The Hermit is the tarot card associated with Virgo. So again, that's giving more of this energy of awakening, of healing, of wisdom, of the integration of wisdom. Okay. Another timeline, please. Friday. Okay. So that's Venus Day, this Friday. Venus did just go retrograde. So for some of you, what I'm hearing is it could be during Venus retrograde. So it's 18 months. Not 18 months. It goes retrograde once every 18 months. So I forget the specific dates, but I think it's usually a month and a half that it goes retrograde. So that's interesting. That brings us into September practically. So these are very similar timelines then, but it could be on a Friday between now and September is now what I'm hearing. They're being a little more specific about that. Okay, that was kind of a roundabout way of giving you the same timeline. For some of you, your Venus or your person's Venus could also be in Virgo. That's interesting. Oh, and in fact, the Queen of Earth could be a Virgo. So So that may be you. Okay. Another timeline, please. When can this collective expect a shift in this connection, please? At dawn. Okay, so some of them may message you first thing in the morning, or may want to message you first thing in the morning on a Friday. Could even be this Friday. But to go back to the Seven of Wands, I mean, make sure you have good, healthy boundaries with this person. Because it seems like they still have energetic entanglements. So you may not want to reply to them at dawn. Just make sure that you are in a good feeling, centered place when you do reply to any message you receive from them, because you want to be able to balance them back in. Because what can happen is if you were to reply when you weren't ready, that could end up triggering them all over again. So you don't want to do that. Okay, one further timeline, please. 6 months. Okay, so we are nearly in August. So that would be September, October, November, December, January, February. So it could be Valentine's Day for some of you that need some more healing to resolve the wounds and traumas that we were talking about in this reading. All right, thank you, Collective.